tonight I've got a treat for y'all. I'm preparing for me going to a-kon this year, a-kon 28 in Fort Worth, Texas, which is this weekend. I'm going to be doing 2 Overwatch cosplays. And behind me, to my left and my right, whichever way it is for y'all, are the 2 cosplays that I'm bringing this year, which are my Valkyrie Mercy, which I will be wearing, and then my Lone Wolf Hanzo cosplay, which my roommate will be wearing. And so I'll be going over that tonight in a few minutes. So let me finish getting set up and I'll start explaining. So yay! Thanks for joining. Alrighty. Hi again. So, I guess first I'll start with my Valkyrie Mercy cosplay. The reason I wanted to do this specific skin was I wanted to challenge myself with working with Worbla. I'm still fairly new. When I did it, this was my second cosplay to ever work with Worbla before. So that was quite a challenge for me, trying to figure out doing the wings on her. And I chose this skin also because I wanted to do one that not a lot of people have done yet. At the time, at least when I started, there wasn't that many Valkyrie Mercy cosplays. There was the original Mercy skin, the white one with the red and yellow. But this one seemed more of a challenge, and I just wanted to give my twist on it, really. So this is what I did, and again, it was my second time working with Worbla ever. The wings, which are shown, let's see, which way can you see? You can kind of see them in this frame. As far as I can turn for now, but I'll show in a bit. The wings are all Worbla, the shield is Worbla, the helmet is all Worbla, and I do use structures underneath it. So the wings are actually, they have a structure of insulation foam, which has been cut and carved, sanded, and then it was covered in Worbla. For this helmet, I use foam instead of insulation foam. So the difference is insulation foam is stuff that you can buy at hardware stores. It's normally purple, at least the kind that I use. And you can get them in different thicknesses, but the one I used was about 1 inch thick. And you can see in some of the pictures on that window, the slides are some of the insulation foam pictures before it was covered in Worbla. The normal foam that I use is just something you can buy at a craft store. It's super, super thin. It's rolled up and you can use it for anything. A lot of crafters use it. other ones that I used Worbla on were the arm pieces. So I did the parts on top out of Worbla and normal foam. The gun, which was my most recent contribution, if you saw me at PAX South this year in San Antonio, I did not have a gun, I just had a staff. And I thought for a-kon that I would want to finish the cosplay out by having the gun. This was made from insulation foam covered in Worbla and then painted as well. And I'll go into more details specifically later in the stream. I'm just doing a generic walkthrough right now, so just letting you know. But feel free to ask questions as I go through, and I will try to answer them for the best that I can. The chest piece and the back piece are also Worbla, as well as the shoulder pads. Let's see, you can't see them in your view. The swords are wood, but have Worbla elements covering it to give it a little more three-dimensional aspects to it. The shoe, let's see, she's got leg pieces that cover her legs, and this is also Worbla with normal foam, so the back, the front, and it wraps around your leg, and I'll show that in a bit as well. The other piece that was made of Worbla and other materials would be her staff. And this was a mix of a broomstick, using the wood as the actual staff, normal foam here, insulation foam, a silver ring, and then towards the bottom is more insulation foam. So it's a good lightweight material, fairly lightweight anyway, when you cover it in Worbla. And my Worbla process, I do what is called the sandwich method, where all of my pieces are, if you think of like a sandwich, there's the bread on the top and the bottom, and then there's all this stuff on the inside. If you consider that the insulation foam is the meat and cheese, and then the Worbla is the bread, except it fully covers it. That is what the sandwich method is. And I prefer that because it gives it more of a finished look. Pay up! Welcome on! I'm just doing a generic walkthrough right now of some of the stuff. So, yay! You actually get to see some of the Hanzo stuff. I need to move on. One second, please. Yep. Why is it? Sorry about that, guys. Had an emergency phone call I had to answer real quick. Yeah. Let's see. Fix the stream. There we go. I'm actually gonna move some stuff real quick so I can read better. My chat room. Okay, I'm back. So, I'm doing really fine. Thank you for asking, Payette. I am happy that technically today was my last day at work for this week. I took off Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. The convention is Thursday and Friday. And Wednesday I'm going to be packing all day, as well as driving to Waco, which is about, let's see, like a 5-hour drive for me maybe? So it's a long drive. I'm splitting it halfway, and I'm gonna go see my dad and pick up my little munchkin, my sister. And then from there on Thursday, we'll drive the rest of the way to Fort Worth. So I look happy. Thank you. I'm happy to be done with the cosplay. I finally finished my Hanzo cosplay, and I'm super excited for that. It's been a little stressful, a little bad things happened at the end that didn't work. Like I did so I was trying to finish it up last night, and oops, and I was trying to attach the side pieces, and I was adding snaps, and got them all done. I spent about 2 hours hand stitching every single snap. Went to try it on, not gonna work, so I had to take them all off, and then I had to do the little hook and eyes. So I had to sew all of those back on, see if it would work, and it's mostly working. I gotta do 2 more. I wasn't able to finish that in time, but that'll only take me a couple minutes, and I'm excited that I'm no longer having to work on this giant beast of a costume. So thank you. With the Hanzo costume, I'm going over the Worbla pieces right now, what I use Worbla for. So the wolf head in the background, that one actually is insulation foam as well, and there may be some progress shots in the picture over here. If not, you can look up on my Instagram page at Tiffany Gordon Cosplay, and I just uploaded 2 work in progress photos of how I made all of the costumes. So all of my step-by-step processes, which are pretty cool. One's like 30 seconds, the other one's like a minute or something, little slideshow. But yeah, the wolf head, it's got a base of insulation foam, then it's covered in Worbla to attach the pieces, and then it's covered in the fur, which is kind of a nightmare. First time working with like foam that way. An info commercial. Do I need to make it feel less like an info commercial? Pay up. Please let me know. The glove for Hanzo as well. All the little attachments, they're also part Worbla. Aw, thank you. And I did finish the bow, so pay up all of those, 5 streams that I did painting the bow, I finally finished it. So I did make all 4 of the arrows for Hanzo, as well as his bow. Let's see if I can get it real quick. So, his bow. So it'd be held like that. And it does have the fur attached to both sides. So, yay. Let's put that back down. Stay still. Aw, thank you. I appreciate it. One thing I don't think I have shown before in any of my pictures is his shoes. So it had some Worbla attachments. Okay, here's your brand promotion or whatever. Skechers? The lightweight shoes? That's what I used. I ripped off the label and hid all of the tags so you can't tell, but that's what the shoes I did. Or I used. The Worbla parts are the red right here, which also has foam underneath it, as well as the white up here. To make which part? Pay it? The bow or like the costume in general. And one of the things I finished recently also is his leg pieces. So it looks kind of funny, but when it's on, it looks accurate. I have my roommate, he's going to be wearing long socks, and the bow, I've probably been working on the bow, honestly, throughout the whole entire time of me making the cosplay. So probably like 3 or 4 months, however long that I've been doing this. And that's just because I had to carve the installation foam, had to, well, cut it out, carve it, sand it, cover each individual piece in Worbla, attach the Worbla pieces together, and then once that was done, 4 coats of wood glue, which takes a long time to dry for doing both sides, and then painting it and attaching for clear coat. It took forever, but I was also kind of lazy in putting it off, so. Hi Adam! Welcome on. And yes, as long as it lives at your house, I would love a new kitty. Yay! So, with the leg pieces, it looks a little funny right now, but basically all the pieces would wrap around his legs, so this would be the front, and then I've got all these little straps to wrap around, and then the fur, which also wraps around the ankle. So, yay! And that was like one of the hardest things for me to figure out. I could have done the back of the leg pieces if you actually look at the cosplay, or I mean the actual photos of Hanzo from the game. I did not do that part. Sorry. It just took too long. So this was my cop-out. Hi Julius, welcome. Are these my new shoes? These are my new shoes. These are the leg pieces though. But yeah, pretty much. They've taken a bit. Yeah, I could say that. You could clean things with it. That, or you could use the whip head. Just like put them on a broom, or the end of a broom, and walk around with it. You had pets, pay up. You had little ducklings, and then you gave them away. You could have been like the father to all of them. They would have been so cute. Oh. But I hope they get, I doubt they're going to give them to a home. But I hope that the place you dropped them off at, they'll release them to the wild. That would be nice. And by the way, cheers everybody. Thank you for watching tonight. So yeah, and hope y'all enjoy the stream. They're gonna take care of themselves. That's good. Let's see. Other Worbla pieces for the Hanzo cosplay are the all of the chest pieces in red, as well as all of the buttons. And he has an arm piece, as well as his quiver and all of the arrows. And again, I did make all 4 of the arrows, so all the different chips on each of them are, for the most part, accurate, I'd like to say. Aww. I'm glad that they're being taken care of. How many hours did I work on these? I don't really keep track of hours. I probably should, but I do work a full-time job, Monday through Friday, 8 to basically 5 every day. So after working on the weekends, and each one took individually 3 to 4 months. So for the Valkyrie Mercy cosplay, I wore that at PAX South, and that was in January. So basically 3.5 months to do this whole cosplay, and I wasn't focusing on anything else. Once I finished that, I decided I wanted to go to a-kon, so I wanted to make this one, which my roommate's gonna wear. and that one was probably about, let's see, 4 months on that one. So, is it worth it? I enjoy making cosplays. It's definitely a completely different thing from my normal job, which is a jeweler. So I make jewelry for a living. And beforehand, I was kind of a seamstress. I used to make costumes, but not on a cosplay level. So grand ball gowns out of paper, metal corsets. If you're interested in any of that, you can look at my website at tiffanygordon.com. You can also see more of my cosplay stuff there too, if you're interested. Or at my Instagram page at Tiffany Gordon Cosplay. But yeah, I really enjoy just making things. I'm definitely a maker, and I twitch if I'm not doing something. Make cosplay jewelry. Hi, Vampik. I've done some. If you look at some of my Witcher cosplay stuff, I did actually make all of my Witcher pieces, which was Ciri, Yennefer, Geralt, who am I missing? Oh, and Triss. I made all of their pendants and medallions, as well as Ciri's metal belt, and that was all out of copper that was etched and die-formed and patinaed. So I have done that. It's just a lot more expensive, and at this point I'm not selling things, but in the future I may. So if that's the case, then I would want to mass produce things and make it a lot more easy and attainable for me to make things. Yeah, Vampik Yoda. It's a pretty awesome name, I gotta say. So, let's see. Which one would you like me to talk about more in depth? The Valkyrie Mercy one with the wings? Or the Lone Wolf Hanzo one, which is my newest one? I'll let y'all decide. Whoosha! The wings? Okay. I don't know which one's left for y'all. For me, this is left, but for y'all, I think... I don't know. I don't know which way. No, on these pieces, none of them are metal. They're all Worbla. So for the Valkyrie Mercy, which I'm going to change the camera angle real quick so that way you can see the full cosplay of it being pinned up anyway. Give me 2 seconds, please. So you can see some of the rest of the pieces on the ground. So am I still in the camera? Nope, I'm cut off. Good thing I'm not super tall. I'm kind of short. Otherwise, I'd be like a lot harder to see. There we go. So for this one, this was, again, my second time working with Worbla. And blah, 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 blah. Sorry, let me start over. So this right here is actually coconuts. And I will move it a little closer so I can turn the wings. Let's see, can I spin it now? I can, I'm not hitting anything. The wings take up quite a bit of room, actually. So the breastplates are coconuts, plastic coconuts from a party store that have been coated in Worbla and wood glued and covered in acrylic paint and clear coated. It does look similar to metal, which I'm happy about that. Other parts are Worbla, are the shoulder pieces, the chest plate, the back plate. Let's see, can I turn it all the way around? Yay! I'll just stand behind them because that seems to be easiest. Yes, I can wear them. If you look at the photos right here in this box, you can actually see some of the images of me in my photo shoots for this cosplay. It is going to be worn, both of these are going to be worn for a-kon 28, which is going to be in Fort Worth, Texas. This weekend, actually. It's a 4-day convention, anime convention. You can also look at my Instagram page at Tiffany Gordon Cosplay if you'd like to see more photos of that, or my website at tiffanygordon.com. So the wings are insulation foam, which is basically stuff that you can buy at a hardware store. And it's purple, normally comes in a sheet that's like 2.5 by 2.5, about 1 inch thick. And I think I doubled up on a lot of this actually to give it the thickness I needed. So you can kind of see in some spots it's a little thicker. And it is actually detachable from the actual form, or like the back and chest plate. And the reason for that is so you can actually walk through hallways and go to the bathroom, which was the biggest concern. If you're at a convention all day from 10 a.m. to probably 10 p.m., you're gonna have to go to the bathroom at some point. So it does come apart with screws and bolts. And the sword right here, which I'll show a little closer. Hello, terrible one. Welcome on. Thanks for joining. The sword right here, it's a wooden sword that has been coated with acrylic paint, as well as some elements have been made out of Worbla. So this piece here, here, and here, and I believe I put it here, are all Worbla, which is it's like a plastic that you heat up, and then it kind of gets soft like clay, and then when it cools, it hardens, and it doesn't like bend or anything afterwards unless it heats up again. So it's a really good material, especially for making like cosplay pieces. But the sword is decoration in the back. The reason it is made out of wood and not metal, and it's not super pointy or anything, is because most conventions don't allow that. And you have to go through a weapons check and get everything flagged at a convention. And if this was actually, if it was actually like a real weapon or something, or too sharp, they would say I wouldn't be able to wear it. And that's why I have all of my elements detachable, so that way if something they say cannot come in, then I can just take that element off. With the wings, so I was saying they're detachable, and I don't know how well you can see. Let's see if I can zoom in. Bear with me, please. I'm learning my new camera. No. Too many cords right now in my studio. I think that's as good as it's gonna get for now. So it's held together with right here and right here, nuts and bolts, and the whole thing detaches. So the wings are attached to the shield. The shield is wooden with foam that wraps around here, covered in Worbla. And I'll show you real quick. Let's see, can I do it while showing you all at the same time? That is the question. Maybe. There we go. And it's pretty easy. I've tried to make it detachable where if I didn't have somebody that was helping me, I could ask anybody really to take it on and off. So it comes apart, just like that. I'm a cosplay expert. Well, I appreciate that. Thank you. So yeah, and then you have the wings that are detachable, and then you see right here, let's see, can you see? So that is the bolt, and then the nuts that go on it. Makes it also possible to drive in a car. The wingspan, it goes about, let's see, 5 feet maybe, 6 feet. So going around corners and stuff makes it a little difficult. Let's see. And there is, so thinking of the weight and everything. Sorry. Trying to put this back together while talking at the same time can be a bit of a challenge. I forgot my train of thought. I'm sorry about that. Oh, so the back plate, because it's made of just normal foam and Worbla, I wanted to add a support structure. So there's actually a metal, it's attached by the way. There we go. So there's actually a metal plate inside. So underneath these two bolts, there's like a little section that's probably like that goes across, that the bolts actually go through, and for support reasons. And it's also structural. The other pieces of metal that were used were for the wings. I'm gonna move this back real quick. That's better. I might be cut off still. No, all good. So the wings were actually, they have a steel rod in them from about here to here. It's just a bar that goes through for structural reasons for holding it. And it's welded to another plate that's on top of this wooden plate, or this wooden shield as well. So, structure reasons. No, I'm sorry. Shut up. Okay, I guess we can lay there. Sorry. We have a kitty friend. You can take that. But you gotta leave me room. I'll show you my little helper. The little helper. She just about knocked it over, so that's why I rushed over. She's a good girl, though. As long as she doesn't knock it. Yes, kitty! So yeah, the other ways I've seen other people do the wings, which have been successful, but also not successful in other ways, have been with PVC pipes. And that's where I've seen people, they just have the wings that are detachable from the shield, which is a way of doing it, but they don't have a locking mechanism for the wings. So the wings will flap back and forth. So they won't stay in the angle that I want them. They'll actually, like, if you turn, they can move that way too. Which is good and bad at the same time, but that seems to be where some people have had a little bit of problems instead of it being, like, stagnant. Yeah. But if I was to remake this, I would change my positions of the wings. I love how they look. I think they're really pretty from certain angles, but I wish that they were upward more. So that way from a frontal picture, they were up like this instead of sideways more. Yes, they're supposed to flap, but not so easily, I don't think. Yeah, so that's the wing part of it. Nothing a saw can't fix. It's gotta go through a 1/4 inch of steel though, Adam. So we'll see. But I wish, because it is Worbla, I wish that I could move it up. But because of the metal structure underneath, I can't do anything about it. So, oh well. Future notes. Yeah. And let's turn it back around without knocking anything over. Good. Ah, hiccup. Sorry. There you go. Masha! A plasma cutter? Yeah. Cheers again, everybody. The other way that I have the shield and everything attached to the front plate is, if you didn't notice, there's actually a corset lace up on the sides, so it holds it together. You can see there. And I have one side that's already pre-laced up, so the day of the convention, all you have to do is lace up one side. The other thing I had to consider was that your head has to fit through the hole, and it's Worbla. It doesn't bend around you, so I had to make it so it actually came apart. How I did that was I made snaps. So the belt is removable. It is a leather belt that I made, by the way. But I have snaps right there. There we go. So the snaps that are connected to the fun fur, there's actually 4 of them. And then underneath, I have a lace-up system as well from the front plate up here to the back plate that goes through the leather, which is holding the shoulder pads. And that's just a tiny bit more support holding it together. So you have a corset lace up on both sides of the shoulders as well as both sides of the waist. Going through metal grommets. And the chest piece it was fun making this because trying to fit this around, like when it's hot, it's I'll start that over. It is foam underneath, covered in Worbla. I made it in a flat sheet and tried to bend it around one of my dress forms. That did not work quite so well. So the next thought was trying to bend it around myself, but for Worbla to actually bend, it needs to be at least, I want to say 90 degrees, so it's a little hot. Tried to bend it for the most part, and then laid on top, bend real quick, hold it in place, and then pull off. So I don't suggest that for people that are trying to do it, but that's how I did it. At that point, I already had the coconuts attached. Woo, coconuts. And that's that piece. So, and it's all, again, it's foam that has been coated in Worbla, the sandwich method, as well as 4 coats of wood glue for structural reasons. And that also creates it from being bumpy. It gives it more of a smooth look, a more natural, if you can say Worbla's natural feel. And then it is coated in acrylic paint. The paint I always use is acrylic. That's part of my painting background. I love acrylic paint. So doing that, and then once the acrylic paint is done, I then did a clear coat of spray paint. That helps seal it, helps it from peeling off. It still does peel sometimes. You have to be careful with where you lay it on once you're not wearing it, or if it's not on a dress form, because the paint will actually peel off onto shiny surfaces. So yeah. probably would have been good. Except the wax paper, when you're using a heat gun, it doesn't quite work too well. I've tried it on the table and my pieces tend to get stuck to it. So probably that, and then a coat of something else on top. Probably, not sure, but I'll try that next time. Okay, and then of course there's the fur on top. It's the fun fur, nasty fun fur, but that's what I got. I think it turned out pretty well for having to attach it. I did a bunch of glue experiments. I think I ended up using, let's see, it was leather weld that I used to attach to this. And that's for if you work with any leather materials. It's kind of like Edge-a-Knot for your seams, for sewing, and it makes for leather, it makes it where the thread hardens, but it's soft and it's not like, it doesn't agitate the skin if it rubs against it, where if you're using like edge seam stuff for sewing, it tends to be like hard and crispy, and it's very painful and it rubs and will leave red marks, where this stuff is really good to use and it's strong. Can I show my socks? I'm not wearing socks. I'm sorry. I am barefoot. So yeah. The shirt underneath, which you can see is 2 colors of brown, and then I have this little kind of cross knot going up. That part is leather. The shirt is actually upholstery material, so it's not breathable, it's not stretchy, it's awful to work with, but it gave me the look that I wanted, which, going through Joann's fabric, you have your basic selection here. Living in the middle of nowhere, you don't have a huge selection, but you do have a basic. And so I didn't like any of those fabrics. I didn't want to use like a cotton, just, I know it's breathable, but so I used the upholstery fabric. It gave me the look I wanted, it gave me the color I wanted, which was really what I was looking for, but it also gave me the feel. And with my cosplay stuff, I try to make it feel more how the character would be wearing it, or more accurate. So if it's supposed to be leather, I try to make it out of leather. For the most part, anyway. Give some exceptions, so. Hello, music crew. Welcome on. Thanks for joining. We're going over my Valkyrie Mercy cosplay right now, just letting you know. Let's see, work our way down some more. So speaking about leather, this belt is actually leather that I bought one of the pre-stripped leathers. It was already cut, but I did the edges on all of it. I did the detail work. I did all of the painting on it and the construction. I attached the belt buckle. So that, I did that part. Yes, me living in the middle of nowhere means I have to go an hour. Actually, the closest Joann's fabric is an hour and a half away from me. So that's always fun. I always try to make sure that if I go there for fabric at Joann's or at Hancock Fabrics, I like that place too, but they're a little more rare, that I always stop at the leather store too, and I buy extra. I don't buy the bare minimum of fabric for making a piece because I don't want to have to travel that far, because it's an hour and a half there, hour and a half back. That's without traffic. Yep. Oh, and then you have to add the dinner and drinks with Adam, of course. So, what state am I from? I'm from Texas. Born and raised. I still live here. So, the swords, again, are the same as, oh, I didn't put this one back. So, here's the back sword. Whatcha? Put that in real quick. There we go. Oh, yay! I'm glad there's another Texan here. Terrible one? These swords down here are also wood, just like the one on the back. Aw, thank you, Terrible One, for following me on Twitch. Love ya. So both the swords are also wooden, and they have some parts of Worbla on them, but they're mostly wood as the base. It's made in 2 sections. Actually, I take that back. It's made in 1 section, these are. I was thinking of my Witcher swords, but these are made in 1 piece of wood. And the Worbla is basically all the silver pieces are made of Worbla, as well as the blue, yellow, or I'm sorry, gold, and then this part to make it look like a authentic wrap. And I also used acrylic paint on this as well. Now, talking about earlier the going to conventions, sometimes you can't have a sword or a weapon. I made them detachable as well. So I have on the inside, I don't know how well you can actually see it. Let's see, can I zoom in anymore? I can. Whoosh-ah. So I made on the back of the sword in Worbla 2 little knots, or little bumps, that I could put leather through. And there's actually snaps that I did. So there's 2 snaps on this one, and then on the other side, turn it some more. Let's see, can you see it? So you can see here, this is actually a leather strap with a snap behind it. So in case they say, you cannot have this in the convention or whatever, I can take it off, I can still come into the convention wearing the cosplay, just not with the weapons. Yes, I'm sorry. I have really bad internet, and so me getting notifications on my email normally takes sometimes up to 2 hours after I'm done streaming for me to receive notifications when somebody's followed. So, but I really do appreciate it, so thank you. And thank you if anybody else followed since that one. I don't know if anybody has, but if you did, thank you. If not, I'd appreciate the follow, but that's okay. I like you here anyway. You don't. If I got arrested for the fake swords, yeah, that would be a problem. Most of the time they do allow foam swords at conventions. So a Terrible One, I'm going to a-kon, which is in Fort Worth, Texas, which is this weekend. That's the one I'm taking both of these cosplays to, just so you're aware. And yes, open carry in Texas. If you have, open carry license. Blah, blah, blah. I forgot what I was saying. I'm sorry. I got distracted by the cuteness of a kitty. Good girl. My little supervisor is sitting on my chair. The other thing, so since PAX South, when I did this cosplay, in case you weren't here earlier when I was discussing this, I wanted to add to it the one thing, take your time, Terrible One. The one thing I wanted to add to the cosplay that I didn't have was the Mercy gun. So after I was done with this whole piece, I went back and I made this baby. And it fits really accurate. It's pretty much how my pistols feel and very good for my hand. I have a really tiny hand, so I'm happy with that. So I'll show you around it. And this is based off of the Valkyrie Mercy gun. And no, it does not function. This piece, which there may be some images over here of progress shots of me working on it, was constructed from, again, insulation foam. It was double layered, so the insulation foam that I have is normally about 1 inch thick. So I stacked them up And how I did that was I do hot glue in between, and then I'll put it through the bandsaw or scroll saw, or which one is it? I think it's a bandsaw. It's the one that goes straight up and down, not the wheel. And doing that, I was able to create it together, and each piece was individually covered in Worbla. So how I did that was this one section was Worbla, this gold part all the way down to here is one piece of insulation foam. This black part on top was foam, just normal foam, covered in Worbla and attached. The little silver piece here that goes back to here is also a piece. This pink color is also a piece, and then this section is one, and then this section from here all the way to here is also a piece of insulation foam. The rest of the elements were the trigger, the end piece, as well as here is just normal foam. I'm sorry, not foam. Did not use foam on those. It's Worbla that I just used. I used it as clay and kind of formed it as well as one of the sights. So, and it is covered in a gloss spray paint as a sealer, a clear gloss one, and it is painted with, yet again, acrylic paint, my favorite. I would probably, so I just discovered the matte, clear enamel matte spray paint. Probably would be a little better in some spots. So you do notice a different shine variety. The Valkyrie Mercy is all clear coated in gloss spray paint, and all of the Hanzo pieces are clear coated in matte, which I think the matte is better for the most part. It's okay. Let's see. And then about the helmet. So that is her helmet. Which is pretty cool. It is my first time making a helmet, much less making one out of Worbla. And this was made with just normal foam in some spots, in other spots it's just Worbla, one sheet. I did the form, the actual round spot. It's in two sections that were put together, and then you have the kind of fake weld. Aw, thank you, Payette. I appreciate it. I'll change my name to Valkyrie Tiffany. But these elements, I have some pictures. I don't know if they're in the slide, if they made it in or not. But what I do is I do a tracing paper to scale accurate of what hers was. I do each of the wings, or the feathers on the helmet. Each of them, I code them from like A to Z, or 1 to 100 or whatever. So I know which piece when I cut them out of foam. And I do it all flat. I do not bend them until they are in Worbla. And I do the sandwich method. So each one of them were covered in, I take that back. I hot glued, so like each of the silver going down and each of the gold going down are individual cut foam pieces that were hot glued together to do the shape that I want. And then I covered it with the sandwich method of Worbla. From that, I bent it. And then, so this was one piece, the gold. The silver was another piece. Each one of these elements was another piece. Same with the gem. This piece was actually 2 pieces of foam. So I used a 1/4 inch thick foam, and then I used a 1/8 inch or 2/8 inch of foam on top to kind of give that detail that I carved out. And again, I bent it afterwards, as well as these pieces. You can see some of my attachments. I just couldn't smooth out on some of them. But they're in hidden spots you can see over here. But not too bad. I did have to stretch though, so the foam heads that I use, which is actually the wolf head, that was the foam head, or well, there was one of the foam heads that I used. I kind of melted the foam head that I used on this one. I didn't coat it, which I learned my lesson. I need to coat in order to take the piece off with, what is it, Vaseline or something? So I recommend that. That was a lesson learned. But for fitting on my head, I did have to stretch it just a tiny bit for the headband in order for it to sit properly. And I do have it where the character in the game, she does have a little bump. She poofs up her hair there, and then I have it where the braid can go around on that side. So. Other pieces that she has, which, and take a quick little sip of my wine. Again, cheers to everybody that's watching the stream. I very much appreciate all of y'all from being here. Love y'all. Okay, the other piece that she wears is she has these arm pieces. So, that's that. Which is made of fabric, leather, Worbla, and fun fur. Tiffany Wine Gordon, actual service. These were kind of fun to make because I combined so many different materials. So how I did the patterning on the this part, let's see, sorry, wrong way, on all of this, is I did it flat. I did a base of fabric, which is the same fabric that I used for the shirt, which is an upholstery fabric. And then I made strips of leather, which is the same leather that's used for the skirt. And it is a pig leather, actually, I believe. I did the strips, I did the kind of cross-hatching of it, sewed it all down flat, and then from that, flipped it inside out, and then there is an inner stitch, which I can't actually show in this. Before I did that though, I attached the fun fur, so it was all completely done then. Then I did the bending of it, sewing the inside, flipping it re-out, or backside out. And then the Worbla was the last piece I added. And that was, again, 2 pieces of foam. One was the thicker foam, not the insulation foam, just the normal foam. And then the really thin foam. And it was all made flat, including the stones. That's a buildup of Worbla. And then it was bent over a mug. Those are like my best friends when it comes to Worbla for bending things, especially for arms. You get a mug that's like that long, that's perfect. Well, like a beer mug anyway. And for attaching it, what I do is I actually, you can see right here, I put holes in it. So there's 2 there and 2 there, as well as on the other side there and there. And I just stitch it on afterwards. So once it's painted, it's clear coated, because obviously you can't clear coat it once it's on here. I mean, you can, but you'd have to do a lot of covering. It is then hem stitched on. So that's how that went. But again, arm piece. It's kind of like a mixture of Wonder Woman, so. And then, let's see. I kind of have my shoe sewed together because I have a normal shoe that I'm wearing, and then I did a leather piece that covers it. And then there's Worbla on top of it. So I kind of have it shown a little bit of how it would be worn. Let's see if it stays in place. So that would be that. I'm going to take it apart now so you can see the sections. So that is my shoe. My favorite brand, which here's your brand drop, Steve Madden. Ultimate favorite shoe company. Reasonable prices and everything. And then you have a couple of other pieces that go onto it. Let's see. Let's use the one that's already detached. Make things a lot easier. So this would be the piece that goes over the legs. And again, this is the leather with the fun fur. And then it does actually open to go over the shoe and behind the shoe. And then it's just folded over on itself. The ankle piece is leather that has been, I think I dyed this one actually. Yeah, I did. I dyed it with a tan leather color, tan dye. And then I did all the edges. I did the snaps on it. So it does come apart. So that way you can put it over the leg, over the shoe, and attach it. And then the piece, the leg piece that also goes around her is this little guy. And it has leather attachments that go around to the back, and they have the snaps on it to attach. And then you can also do the crisscross. No, I have not seen Wonder Woman yet. Sorry, Payup. It definitely does. When I wore this one at PAX South, it actually was kind of cold, which was like the only time I've been cold in a cosplay. But normally it's really hot, especially for this weekend where the high is supposed to be 95 and the low is, I want to say 72. So that's going to be a fun adventure, especially when the Worbla starting to bend is around like 90 something. So it's kind of knit close. I just need to not be in direct sunlight. Otherwise I may have some problems. But with this leg piece, I'm going to show you the inside. I always do a base coat just so that way it's kind of sealed. And then I use little metal pieces. You can kind of see where the leather is attached. I do like a little kind of circle for it to go through. I make sure that the leather can, and I trim the leather so it fits through it. And then it's hand stitched on there. This leather I just pre-bought. These strips, they come in like a pack of like 20 of strips that are this wide and I don't know, like 3 feet long. They're pretty nice and handy. But each of them I have the snaps on it that I put on, and then I painted the snap top brown. So, wooshoo! Pieces that I've not talked about on this one are her skirt, which is also leather with fun fur, and then the pants, which is also an upholstery fabric. I did not do the hemming on it. It actually only goes slightly past the knee, and it tucks into the leather leg pieces. The reason I did that was because the leg pieces have to be so tight to fit that I didn't want to stuff a bunch of material down, so they end up being cut to like here, which also makes it a little cooler, like temperature wise. Then there's also another, it's the darker fabric for the shirt is in the background, and then the leather strips, which is the reverse side of what was on the piece I just showed you as the straps. And then this piece over here is the leather, what is it called? Is it a garter or something? Correct me if I get that wrong. It was hand dyed, and then, let's see, I don't know if y'all can see it. Focus, there we go. So it was hand dyed the tan red color, and then the darker black color was dyed afterwards. So I covered these spots with not a resist, but I kind of did a border around it so that way they wouldn't cover. And then I have snaps around it because originally I had to take it on and off. It wouldn't slide over, but then I found it easier just to have it permanently attached. So that was originally just one snap here, but when I was wearing it, I noticed that it started to actually tilt from here and it would start going sideways on. So I had to do an extra snap on the side so that way it would stay up. And the last piece I have not shown on this Mercy cosplay before we go to the Hanzo one. Let's see, can I fix that? There we go. Is the staff. And then that is this one. Much better. I do have mine a little shorter, but that's because I'm a short person and I don't want a super tall staff. Most people, they do create theirs to go about like slightly higher than them, but I figured when I'm holding it, it's already going to be about my height, a little higher, and I didn't want it to be so much higher than me, but then throw me off balance too. How tall am I? I am 5'2", and on a good day, maybe 5'3". I like having good days. And I do prefer wearing my heels. They give me an extra 3 inches or 4, depending on the day. So, yeah. And again, thank you all for watching, and if you haven't done so, I'd appreciate the follow. Love all y'all. The staff itself is made of this part to here. Wait, that way? Here to here is a broomstick. I cut off the broom and I needed just a rod, so it was perfect one. Just buy a short rod, or I mean a cheap rod that was like $2 for a broom or something. Worked really great. It looks dangerous. A little bit. It depends on who you hit it with. The bottom part, so you can actually see right here, there's this kind of little like geometric shape. That's where the broom actually, it twists on and off. So there's like a bolt that goes inside of here for where I took it off, which worked out in my favor actually. The element on top, this part, is an insulation piece that's been carved, sanded, and then the whole thing is covered in Worbla again. And again, as well, acrylic paint, clear coat enameled, spray paint. So, oh, and we gotta remember the 4 coats of wood glue beforehand. Same process throughout the whole piece. When you get up to here, I think the rod, oh no, rod actually goes to up to here. I got that wrong. This piece here and here are foam, the really thin, little thin pieces of foam covering over here. As well, this one is insulation foam that's been covered. This is actually a metal ring, so it does have, let's see, which way can you see? It does have a tiny bit of movement, but I tried to make it where it was still for the most part. That way it didn't like break off or hit anything. I am 24. Boogie. Yes, being in Texas, Worbla is a problem. Because the temperature for Worbla to start becoming soft is 90 something degrees. So, terrible one, you do know all of this isn't, or you do know the temperatures here in Texas, living here. So that's a little bit of a problem. I've never had any of my pieces actually bend outside in heat. I do all of my pieces the sandwich method, which means you're covering a base core, so it's completely covered, and you have a structure underneath the Worbla, and that helps it from not bending. Where if it was just a Worbla piece per se, so like the helmet, this section back here, there is nothing underneath it. There is no foam. It is just one piece of Worbla that's been bent. That actually may start to warp on me. But I have coated it in acrylic paint, clear coat enamel, which also kind of helps keep it sealed. But I've been doing some testing in my car this last week. It's gotten close to 90. I think it got to 92 this week as the highest. And I'm trying to see if it actually does bend as much after it's been covered in all this. I've not really seen any, like with little scraps and stuff, I haven't seen any noticeable changes yet, but I really don't want to take that chance. So I would say if you are going to wear any of these pieces outside in Texas, one, you don't want to be outside when it's 90, 100. You're going to die anyway. It's too hot. And like if you are out there, make it for short periods. Don't be in direct sunlight as much as possible, because once you're in the direct sunlight, that will cause it to heat up quicker, and you'll heat up quicker. So. Yes, very much. I agree. No, my car has AC. Basically what I was meaning by doing testing with my car is while I'm at work from 8 to 5, I have Worbla pieces sitting in my car, and I didn't crack my windows because I was wanting to get really hot inside, and I had about 3 pieces of Worbla inside trying to test it to see if it would actually bend and all, and there wasn't really any noticeable bending of any of my scrap pieces. So. Yep, 90 is hot though. Cheers again, everybody. So yeah, that is, I don't know if I went over the whole Worbla stuff on this stuff. Oh, insulation foam for each of these 3 pieces. They were separately made, 2 pieces for each. So the silver is 1 piece, the pink is another piece, the gold is another Worbla piece, but not insulation foam. Put together, and then once they were each done individually, then they were attached to the top piece, which is another piece of, it was a styrofoam ball that was carved, a white one. So put together from that, and then same process through the whole thing on 4 coats of wood glue, acrylic paint, and clear coat enamel, gloss on these. So cut and paste, repeat. And that is the Valkyrie Mercy cosplay. Any final questions or anything? I can come back to things, but I was gonna head to the Lone Wolf Hanzo cosplay next to go over that, if that's okay with everybody. And thank you again for being here. I very much appreciate it. Okie dokie. Let's see. Change. Hopefully I don't have to move the sleeping kitty. Nope, she's not in the picture. All good. So this is the Hanzo cosplay that my roommate will be wearing this weekend. We just finished our test. Aw, thank you, babe. And you changed your color. Yay, you're back to purple. Sorry, I'm used to standing on the other side now. I need to stand more on this side so you can see there. Let's change it like that. I'm gonna turn the music down just a tiny bit. Good girl, Chana. How tall is my roommate? I want to say he's about, let's see, I'm 5'2", so he's like maybe 5'6", so a little taller than me. Things that are not shown here, as well as for the Mercy, is the hair, obviously. There is in the scrolling pictures right somewhere there is a picture that I just took today of him wearing it for his first actual fully put on of everything, except for his facial hair and his tattoo. Those I've done tests on for the cosplay. He's got a tattoo that goes across his arm, and he's got little tattoo red marks underneath his eyes. And for facial hair, he has like a little V for Vendetta, pointy beard, and like a kind of swirly mustache. So I've tested those. I've done a little bit of painting with that. A little nervous on the facial hair. I've never done that before. I've never done like professional painting. That's not acrylic paint. It's like actual like makeup painting for theater and stuff. So that was interesting to try out. I think is it Chrysler or Chrysler or I don't know. It's something like that. Krylon. I think it's Krylon actually. With a K. So wish me luck with that. First test on both of them went well, kinda, except for the facial hair. But I know what not to do now, and I have faith that I'll be able to do it correctly now. I'm Barbarian and Samurai combined. Pretty much. I've gotten also Iron Man when I was making the pieces, as well as Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Because once you take this off, it's very much like that. As well as if you just see the shirt with the pieces on it, it looks like a lacrosse kind of armor piece. We went halfway. Pretty much pay up. My family is short though, unfortunately. I wish I was super tall, but that's what high heels are for. So, so with the Hanzo cosplay, I tried to use similar materials that I did for the Mercy cosplay. Since they were created by the same person, I wanted it to look like they kind of lived in the same world. So you'll notice some of the same materials, such as the faux fur. There's a couple of different types of faux fur, but this one is the same. And then the leather is the same that was used in the skirt of the Mercy cosplay, as well as the arm pieces and the leg pieces. Those were the elements that were used the same on both. And I think it kind of relates a little more. So it's not just like a complete different cosplay. It kind of feels like the same world. Okay, so this one was a lot more difficult than I thought it was going to be. First reason, I was dressing a man. I am a female, thank you very much, and I'm not used to making men cosplays. I've done 2 in the past, but I'm used to making more for my shape. I'm really tiny. I'm not used to using tons of material. And he's not big at all. He's normal size for a guy. But it was quite a bit of a learning experience, to be honest. So I'm proud of myself for doing that. Other things were the wolf head, which I'll show in a bit. That was honestly, it was a nightmare to do. I did the wolf head about 3 different times before I came to this one. And then basically I was making a furry, I think is what they're called, or whatever, the fursuits. And laying fur was a little bit of a challenge as well. And I ended up canceling one of my streams, I think Payup, you might remember, because laying all the fur just on the head part, not on the whole piece, took about 12 hours to do. And I did that all in one day. I didn't want to stop and then do it the next day because I was already covered in glue. So if you ever do this one, that's a big challenge, at least for me anyway. The bow took a long time as well, but I kind of was distracted a lot of times doing that, so I did it here and there. I tend to only paint it during streams on Tuesday nights, which is my creative streams, so that kind of took a little more time. And then doing more of the chest pieces was a little difficult as well. So I guess I will start, let's just get the wolf head out of the way. So this is the lovely wolf head. And it smells like hairspray right now because I just finished it 2 or 3 nights ago. It's still really strong. You can see it kind of goes around, and then it's got the braids that go down to there. How I did this piece was the final piece anyway, which I do have. If you go to my Instagram page at Tiffany Gordon Cosplay, I just posted a little short video, a 1-minute video of all my progress shots, and that'll really show you step by step how I did the head, cutting each part out, and it's made from insulation foam. This piece right here, up to the nose, the head, the ears, where this piece is not back here. So you can see the endings here and here. Are we in dinosaur time? Basically, he's got a wolf head, hence the name Lone Wolf Hanzo. And then when he does his ult, he pulls his bow back and releases an arrow that has a spiraling, I think it's 1 or 2 wolves that go and they kill basically everybody that's in their path. That's his ult. But for this piece, it's really hot underneath it. So each one of these sections has a base of insulation foam that's been carved out, and all of them were flat to start off with, and then they were each sculpted and sanded into the shapes that they want, including the ears. And so each eyebrow is a different piece, the nose is a piece, each of the teeth, if you can see them, are pieces. I know you don't like the wolf head, Chella. It scared Chella the other day. She saw it for the first time and was hissing at it. She didn't like it, and it woke her up now. I'm sorry. Good girl. The eyes, those are just Worbla, and it's acrylic paint. So I did just, if you're carving any clay, you would do the little eyeball, you'd put it into a hollow socket, and then you would put the eyelids on top and on bottom, and it actually makes it feel like it has a negative space more. So let's see. And then it's got a semi-gloss spray paint, clear enamel spray paint on it to kind of give it that shine, as well as the nose. Where everything else for the Hanzo cosplay is a matte finish. Yeah, she's very nervous with it, unfortunately. Poor Stella. So yeah, each of those pieces are individual. The other consideration that I had to do was attaching it to the head, and it's very much lopsided, so I had to be mindful of, is it going to go forward, is it going to go back? So the solution was to destroy a hat. So I'm going to take it off of the head. And the inside is actually a hat, a camo hunting hat, to be specific. And I cut off the bill, which was here. And then this hat, the reason I chose it was because it has a Velcro, so it makes it easier to put on and off and attach it to the head. Probably, I don't know if it'll fit me because it's not made for me, but I will show you real quick. It might look funny for a little bit. So it fits like that. And I understand what you mean by you can't hear from it now. But sideways, front, back. And then these things, which are Worbla. And then I put more fun fur. So it's 3 different types of fun fur, actually. Okay, I want to put this to the side because it really smells like hairspray. Really bad. I use the hairspray to give it more of that graphic look instead of a fluff kind of feel. And that is said wolf head, as Cello looks extremely nervous as I bring it around. Whew. Am I resistant to ice magic? To everybody's except for me. It does feel extremely warm though with that on, and you can't hear, it's like a buff. So it's kind of whoosh, ice magic. Okay, next parts. I'll go over let's do the arrows. So, pull them out. 2 of them are technically the same, so I'm just going to pull out the 3 that are different. Ah. You want to smell them? My inspector. She has to smell every single piece that I bring out, make sure that it is okay. So, the arrows, which are here, I'll show you from the front. So the tips are where they're different from all of the other ones. That one, which is his one for seeing through walls, his normal arrow, sorry, wrong way. And then his ultimate arrow. which he holds in his picture that he's known for. And this one, technically, all of the pieces are supposed to be floating, not attached, but this is the real world, and I can't do that. Yes, I am very weak to ice magic, much less the cold. When it gets to 70, that's jacket weather for me. And snow. I still have not seen snow, so, you know, that tells you how Texan I am. But each of the arrows, those are all 3, I'm trying to figure out which one to move. All 3 of the arrows, the normal arrow, this one is the one I have 2 of. That too. All of the pieces here, the sticks, those are just balsa wood. And then the feathers are each foam, 1 strip that's covered in Worbla. And then I used a tool to kind of give it those lines, and then it's just painted. So from a distance, it looks a lot better than up close because of the shine in the camera. No, don't knock it over, Chella. Equip with head against magic. All of this is just acrylic paint, and then each of these pieces are, let's see, what did I make it out of? I used some type of tube. I don't remember what it was for this one. And then it's covered in Worbla. And then both of these are foam that's been covered in Worbla as well, and then painted. Yeah, the only time it snowed in Texas, I was actually in New York, and it wasn't snowing. So I missed that. I mean, I've seen the tiny little, like, flurries, but, like, it evaporates when it gets to about your face level. So I've never, like, nothing on the ground. I've seen the black snow in different places way up north, but I don't really consider that snow. It's just, like, nasty black piles everywhere. And then flying over, I've seen areas where I was, like, so confused looking out of the plane, like, what is that? It looks like there's sand everywhere. And they're like, no, that's snow. I don't know. Haven't seen it before. So those are the arrows. And I'm going to put them back in their home. Before I get to the bow, I'm going to show the glove, which I did buy the glove, just the black glove part. The red pieces I made. I hate making gloves. I've done it a couple of times. They don't look right. They aren't... My skill for making gloves is just not up to par. So I would much rather buy one, spend like $5 on a glove or something, and then add pieces to it than make a whole glove from scratch. They're like a work of art in themselves. So I applaud anybody that can make a really nice glove. What else? So the red pieces, which this is my Iron Man's glove. Right? I need the little glow here. They're Worbla with foam underneath. Each of these bent. Then it is covered in 4 coats of wood glue, plus, I hope everybody knows by now, acrylic paint. And we're gonna do matte, matte clear enamel spray paint. So that's the basic on that. It's a really comfortable glove though. It's got a, I don't know how well it's gonna be in heat, but it's got like a padding in it. I don't know where I got it, somewhere on eBay or something. Or Amazon, I think. Yeah, I would need to definitely buy a winter wardrobe at that point. I have a lot of jackets, but nothing too heavy most of the time because I work inside. I just have enough to get me, the 10 feet from my car to the door or something at work into the house. So if it's cold, I just don't go outside. What kind of glove is it? I'm not sure. It's a I don't know the brand. A motorcycle glove? It's a motorcycle glove, my roommate says. Doing charades in the background. It's got a lot of padding. It's more of it's like a faux leather with about like a 1/4 inch of kind of padding in between. Really comfortable. No, I know I wouldn't be able to. I know also that you'd probably get sunburned, or at least I would, because my dad is a ginger and I have so much Scottish blood and like European blood in me. I basically turn into Elmo in the sun and I just get freckles. I cannot get a tan whatsoever. I am like super white. So I know in the sun it'll reflect and then I'll just burn. Story of my life. I've never been skiing and I've never been snowboarding before. Is the glow plastic? What glow are you talking about, Boogie? Yeah, you got sunburn. Okay, now to the bow. Yay! So here's the bow. The question I get all the time, is it functional? It is functional for like 1 or 2 times and I would not do it anymore. But I have not technically tried it. I don't want anything to break. It is not a stretchy cord or anything. The parts, it's not super bendable. It is made from the black Worbla, which is supposed to be bendable, but the core underneath is insulation foam, which is not bendable. So you may get 1 or 2 uses out of it, but I don't think you're gonna get much out of that. So I don't try to pull it more than this, and that's just for show. Another reason I didn't want to make it functional, and I have seen some, don't move, Shella, you keep knocking it. She's like getting closer to the chair, knocking my iPad off, and I won't be able to read the chat, and I won't have an iPad. I have seen, there's one guy I follow on Instagram, and he made an actual functioning Lone Wolf Hanzo bow, or a Kami Hanzo bow, one of those skins. And it had the pulley system where the yellow part, it actually did bend like a proper bow. Really cool, except for specifically for the con that I am going to, in most cons, you are not allowed to bring that into an actual show. You cannot, a lot of times they don't even allow the strings, but because this one you can't really pull, like at least we're not going to show that you can pull, I'm hopefully going to get by from that. Same with the arrows. None of the arrows have an actual point on them. If they were a metal tip, which I think he may have been making them like realistic, you wouldn't most of the time be able to go to a convention. So there's that whole balance of I want it to be accurate, I want it to be real feeling and everything, except there's all these restrictions that if you actually do want to show it somewhere, you gotta knock it down. So that's kind of how I base my cosplay stuff on. Again, cheers everybody, and thank you for following tonight. Love y'all. So with the bow, there may be pictures on that side over there in the slide of progress shots. This is a cord base of insulation foam in many, many pieces. To start off with, so on this side, this yellow and silver part is one piece. This red part right down here is another piece. This red part is another piece. This silver going up to the green and red up to here is one piece. Each one of these teeths are an individual piece. I did feel like a dentist for the longest time making them. I had my little dentist picks because for doing metal stuff, you use a lot of tools like that for casting. So I had a bunch of those laying around. So I was like using like little picks that a dentist used to actually carve it, which is kind of funny. This whole white section is one piece. This gray section is one piece. Again, each tooth was individually done. I'll show you the inside some. This whole white piece is one piece. This gray, or I'm sorry, wrong color. This green to gray, and it goes all the way to here, is one piece. Each bone, one there and one there, were individual pieces. This section from here, which goes to here, is one piece, the silver anyway. The red on top is another piece. This bone all the way to here is another piece. This section a piece, and then these two sections were one piece. So a lot of pieces that were individually cut with is it a bandsaw? Question mark?
And a scroll saw.
Bandsaw and a scroll straw. Those are tongue twisters. A band saw and a scroll saw were used to cut these out. And then afterwards they were hand carved with just, I have one of those push out blades that if the blade gets dull, you rip off a piece, but I used the whole section, so it was like 6 inches of blade to cut all of these. Afterwards was sanded, and then they were each covered individually with Worbla. From that, they were attached together. How you attach Worbla is same way as how you use it. You heat it up, and when two pieces are heated, they have a more sticky feel, and you can stick them together. And then I tend to add just a tiny bit of Worbla to connect both pieces, just for insurance purposes. From there, after it was all connected as one piece, 4 coats of wood glue, a shit ton of painting, lots and lots of painting. If you've watched any of my creative streams in the last 2 months or so, that's basically my Tuesdays of painting. I was slow on it. And then once that's done, clear coated, I attached the fur. It's like this funny little fur piece on both sides, and that's actually in the, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to disturb you. That is in the actual game. So I wanted to make it, they're a little more stylized in the game, but I wanted to make it feel kind of like the rest of the stuff besides the wolf head. So that's that. It's pretty good. You got a hand grip, and then, oh, I forgot this little piece. So that piece, this is one piece, and then it's strips of Worbla for the leather looking brown part, and then it's a silver ring there. So you can actually put a finger through to pull. IKEA fur? No, unfortunately not. I think the closest IKEA for me is Round Rock, and that's maybe a 4-hour drive. No, I use just fun fur. You can buy it like fabric. You cut it up in strips and everything. It leaves an absolute mess everywhere. Lots of vacuuming. I don't like using it in general, but for this one, I obviously couldn't get away from it. I did try to use reindeer fur. I bought a hide of that. Beautiful, beautiful hide. It didn't quite work out, so I have a bunch of extra hide of that I'll figure out something to do, or I'll give it to somebody else. But I wanted it to look real. It just didn't quite work out for how stylized it needed to be. Cello. Okay. Next is the shoes. I guess technically I just need one shoe. So if you hear earlier, my brand marking of what I used, the base shoe, again, I'm not making any shoes. I'm not gonna wanna make a shoe. It's a Skechers memory foam specifically. I cut off all the labels on the outside, and what I added onto it was the white part here. Tilt that down some. There we go. This part is foam underneath with Worbla. Same with the cello. You keep scooting closer this way. You bum. Go that way. Thank you. Sorry, she's like slowly pushing it away. I've never worn them, but they feel kind of fun, and they're super lightweight, which is good. So yeah, foam underneath with Worbla, and then the other parts I did were I just did some painting on the parts that are on the shoe. So basic shoe. They're all, so my attachments are, again, I did little holes, and they're sewn on. So they're, sorry, I'm trying to figure out the camera. They're, for the red part, I actually have jump rings holding it. So you can see here, there is a jump ring underneath it. It's attached to the inside of the red, and then I painted the jump ring black so it hides, it kind of camouflages. And then I sewn it to the shoe. And there are 3 attachments for that. So there's one here, here, and here. And it still has a little bit of movement, but that's really good for, because it's a shoe, it's gonna bend. You want that, you don't want it to be sturdy. I've done some shoes before with Worbla. I don't recommend it, well, at least in Texas. You cannot do shoes in Texas unless you're wearing it in the winter time that's non-existent here. My shoes that I wore for my Mume costume, I did a piece that actually touched the ground, and it went under it, under the shoe, so you're walking on it. It did not last. The paint did not last. It actually scraped, and it started cracking. So I don't recommend that if you live somewhere where it's extremely hot. If you live in Europe where it's colder, or up north in like New York area, I'm pretty sure you'll be fine. But for a Texan girl, not so much. Yeah. Cold weather is non-existent here. Well, actual cold weather for normal people. Cold weather for me is like 70, but you know. Really funny piece. It looks funny. This is the leg piece. I talked about it a little bit earlier when I was doing a quick run through. It looks like an orange color on my screen, Pia. But yay, you changed colors. This is the leg piece that goes around. So this would actually, all these attachments, they bend around the legs. So this is the ankle down here. So it would sit, let's see, the shoe would be there. Let's see, can I hold pieces at once? Let me fix it. 1 moment, please. There we go. So, shoe, piece sits on top. There's your leg. Ba, 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 ba. And Chella, you're slowly trying to knock this over again. Oh, you meant angled? Aw. Love you. So with the leg piece, I've looked around, I've tried to see if anybody has done the Hanzo leg pieces. My opinion, I have not seen it done in justice to be accurate to the cosplay. I've seen people do it pretty nicely, but not to look like, or not cosplay, I'm sorry, not to look like the actual skin. And I wanted to do it. He basically has this, so if this is the front side of the leg, the back side, he has this leather piece that's really jagged and sculptural. It's very architectural. I could not do it. I didn't have enough time. If I wanted to spend another week and a half working on it, making it from foam, and then also Worbla, then maybe I could have got it, and I would have had to do it as two pieces that attach together. But in my time, I was not able to do that. So that's one of my biggest things that is inaccurate about this cosplay. Oh, bye, Miss Jella. Thanks for coming. So this piece instead, he's got for the pants. So a reminder, the poofy pants. These actually go, so on the dress form, they're kind of low, but they go to about here. So I bought some black knee-high socks, and when this goes over it, the black straps actually kind of hide, and you don't see it as much. Woof! Oh, I get to see the puppy tomorrow, by the way, Payette. So I'm picking, on our way to Fort Worth. Tomorrow we're going to my dad's house in Waco to pick up my sister, and I get to see the puppy. So she'll be funny, sweetie. But yeah. So yeah, those are all the straps, and they all are leather straps with snaps on the end. Sorry, I'm a little high. Let's move it there. This is also leather here with a snap. It's double layered, so that way the fur is actually wrapped inside of it. The inside piece, so you can see here, I have it where it goes, it's not actually attached to, like it is attached to here, but by like the jump rings and sewn on, but the actual piece that wraps around the leather, it is attached to his leg, instead of half of it attached to the leg, half of it attached to the Worbla. That would cause a lot more bending problems and cause a lot more structural issues. Mr. Pink, welcome on. Thanks for visiting again. It's been a long time. We are currently talking about the Lone Wolf Hanzo cosplay, and we just finished talking about my Mercy cosplay. Okay, so next part is Hanzo. Main pieces anyway. Let me go over the quiver first, I think. Junk mail on my emails. So this is the quiver with bows that are actually detachable. They have their own little slits to hold them in place. Aww. Oh yeah, true. I forgot, because I didn't stream at all any of the Valkyrie Mercy cosplay. I've only started streaming while I was making this one. Thanks for pointing that out. So this piece I made from cardboard. I cut a bunch of pieces of cardboard, and that's the base structure of this. And then it is covered in Worbla, a lot of Worbla. And then I did Worbla strips on top, so that's how you see kind of the little jaggedness. Each one of these little faux leathery pieces are also Worbla strips to kind of look like faux leather, faux fabric stitching. Top part is insulation foam. You can actually see one of my seams right here of where the two pieces met. And then same with the bottom part. So that's also a couple of pieces. I'm sorry, not insulation foam, normal foam. I apologize for that. This is also the 1/4 inch normal foam with faux little Worbla strips to kind of give it that fake stitching. It's a little pricey. A sheet of, so definitely if you're gonna buy Worbla, spend the extra money to get the largest sheet. If you buy the smaller sheets, if you can afford it, like if that's all you can afford, then that's okay, but it's definitely better to buy the larger sheets because of the price. For the largest sheets that they are about that wide and from the ground up this tall, so 4 feet by 6 feet? No, I'm sorry, wrong measurement. 4 feet by, let's see, 4.5 feet by 3.5 feet, 2.5 feet, something like that. My measurements are really bad. For a sheet of that, it's roughly about $80 to $88, depending on if you get the basic Worbla, the fine art Worbla, which is the cream color stuff, which was used for all of the Valkyrie Mercy stuff except for the gun, or the black Worbla, which is the black fine art Worbla or something like that. That was used for just about all of the Hanzo stuff. That's about, I think it's $8 more expensive. So it's a little pricey, but the thing with the Worbla is it's always reusable. Every single scrap, even if it's just like a tiny little bit, you can reuse. And as long as you have a heat gun, you can heat it up and you can attach it and you can make a big sheet again. Now, it won't be flat perfectly, you'll have some seams and everything, but you can reuse it for base structure and you can fill out a lot of that by smoothing. If you're doing armor stuff, I would recommend it, but you would want to do more structural materials. Like everything I do for Worbla, I just about always have some understructure, whether it's insulation foam or cardboard. The only thing I've not done a base structure was the Valkyrie Mercy helmet, and that was just for the cap because I couldn't get it to bend perfectly. And I had a base structure of the styrofoam head, which was completely destroyed when I tried taking it off. But it's constantly reusable. I actually have a giant Tupperware box, storage boxes that are like that big, that deep, of all of my scraps, so I can constantly reuse it, and it'll help from going to future stuff. But if you're wanting to cover like a large section, like so for this, for instance, if I wanted to not have any seams or anything and I wanted this to be one flat sheet, you would want to cover that whole thing with one new sheet. Not to say that you can't do it with smaller sheets, but it would be a lot easier to do. Yeah. With Worbla, if you are interested in that, you just type in where to buy Worbla, and they only sell it at one place. It's only on their website. There are actually a couple of stores that sell Worbla, but I've never been to one. I don't know what they actually sell, but you have to look on their website to see specifically their locations. With Worbla, you have to do also, so besides buying a heat gun, you have to have a heat gun that can actually heat up to the temperature that it needs. And then, like for mine, I built a rig so that way it doesn't have an on and off switch. Well, I mean, it does, but it doesn't have an instant on and off. It has a cooling system, so when you turn it off, it goes to colder air, so it doesn't burn, but it constantly stays on. So I built basically a wire V, so have it sit in, so it's constantly on. And if you've watched any of my past, I think it was like a month or two ago when I was working with Worbla, you could probably see my system set up, but I don't have it available to show as this time. But you'd need a heat gun. You would also need to use wood glue or another type of sealant. and you can look at their website and see what suggestions they have. I personally like the wood glue because it's affordable. You can buy a giant tub, and my little trick is to put it in a empty water bottle, put a hole in the top, and then it's sealed and you can just use it. But normally for Worbla you want to do at least 4 coats of wood glue. And that's so you can have a smooth surface, otherwise you have this textured surface. So it just depends on how you want your look, but normally you do want those coats. So it can be a lot of time. It can be more expensive depending on what you're making. But you can get a lot better results unless you are a master craftsman of another media. This is probably one of the not easier ways, but the better looking ways of making a costume, in my opinion, for an armor piece. So I hope that helped. Sorry if that was a long answer. So yeah, I'm gonna have a sip of wine after that. Cheers if you're still here after hearing that. Appreciate it. So I have it attached. Leather strip that I made. I did the detail work. I attached the belt, I did all the holes and everything. Again, I have these little attachment pieces, which if you remember me talking about for the Mercy stuff, I did here, and I have also down lower, but it's these little holes that I can put the leather through, and they're connected with a snap. Same purpose of if I need to detach it and he can only wear the belt, it can come on and off easy. Well, I appreciate it. Thank you for still being here. Feel free to ask more questions though. And if you need more detail on stuff, let me know, or if I didn't explain something correctly, feel free to ask again. I didn't mind. Oh no, it froze! Come back up. Let me see if something started downloading. 1 second, please. Let me see if that fixed it real quick. There we go. It's back up. Sorry for the freeze, or I don't know, it froze on my end, so I tried to fix it. I think something popped up on the normal computer, but we should all be good. So more on the Hanzo cosplay. So again, I wanted it to look like the Valkyrie Mercy. I did the leather on top with the fun fur attached underneath it. So it's a nice little cover up. Hopefully I won't get lipstick on it. Let's see if I can attach it looking with it in the mirror, but I can't. There we go. I had it backwards. So, like that. Wajah! You think it's part of my outfit? Grr. So other parts, I'm just gonna wear this for now. It's actually kind of comfortable, to be honest. Yeah, I really could wear it as a shirt. So other parts of the cosplay are the black thing, which is just a kind of strip that goes around. It's for basic coverage. In the cosplay, he has a little bit of his arms showing when he lifts up, so I wanted to make sure that covers that part. For that, underneath, I'm going to take it off real quick, so that way you can see the shirt. The shirt was kind of an engineering thing. You may also see the kitty in the background. She is coming to help. Yes, you can. The sneaky kitty. Miss Jello, what are you doing? What are you doing? Why are you sniffing the wall? Hey. Hey, what are you doing? She wants to be helpful. So, the shirt, this is all attached in one piece. From this red piece right here, all of the red pieces are in one, attached to this green shirt, which is a cotton. The shoulder pads are also one piece attached to it. Let's see, can I move it closer? You will not see the kitty as much. Yep. Easy. Yes, she's a calico cat. Nah, she doesn't. She only uses the brick wall as a scratching post, but she has no front claws, so it's kind of funny when she sits there. And she likes using the laundry basket. She just likes the feel. But she'll never scratch any of. She's never once scratched any of my stuff, even when she did have claws. So the shoulder pads, it's leather up here. This is Worbla, all one piece. And then in one of my streams, I was actually painting it a while ago. And then there's a little ribbon at the bottom. And then the back piece, which it actually is hidden until here, and then all the other stuff you can't really see. So I kind of, like, he has his armor, it goes up more, but this is kind of, I did more of what can't be shown. I didn't do underneath as much, so it hides. Aww, I like calico cats. They're nice, and they're pretty. So yeah, it's foam with Worbla in the red. It's sewn onto a black leather piece on all of these, including the front pieces. They all have, it's all Worbla with black underneath it, individual strips. The side sections are strips of leather, and then for getting on and off, this is the part where I was saying earlier that it, I like did the piece and it, like making it, oh that's cool, it moved it up at the same time. Ah! I did like 2 hours of hand sewing all the snaps and everything just for it not to work. That was this piece. So what I ended up doing was hook and eyes. So it actually comes off here, but it can pull it, so it's kind of like a corset pulling in and everything around the waist. And the reason I made it detachable is so you can get the shirt on and off. It also pulls in the loose bit of fabric from the shirt, so it kind of fixes it that way. Oh, it's the reflection on things. I have my studio bench light. It's on in the corner right now for my metals bench. And then that's causing a lot of reflections and everything. So that's that whole piece. They're all hand stitched onto the shirt. The underside is like tons and tons of little black knots everywhere. But individual ones. And I tried to make it where they only attached in a couple of spots, so that way it wasn't too stiff. I wanted it to still be breathable and movable for him. Is it adjustable in any way? Not really. I mean, it's loose fit in some spots for him, but it can stretch out a little bit because the leather will stretch in its own, but the shirt won't get any larger. So getting that on and off would be issues. If I were to make it adjustable, I'd want to do probably a corset lace-up, meaning I would probably do a side lace-up with a zipper or something, so that way you can get it on and off there, or make it all the way to the top. I don't know. I haven't really thought about that. I don't need to though. The belt, so this down here is all one piece. And this was my first time using a different type of dye for leather. I've dyed a bunch of leathers before, more browns and reds and blacks, but never an actual like vivid color. So this green color, I'm gonna take this off now. The green color down here is leather that's been hand dyed with a water-based dye. There may be some pictures over here. If not, you can go to my Instagram page and see. So yeah, that was all leather. The silver buttons here, and then the two in the back are Worbla that has a little silver loop like a circle. And for that I punched a hole in the leather so the silver circle could go through, and then I put another jump ring so they're kind of attached like that, and it causes it where it can't go in and out of the leather unless it's like forcefully ripped out, but it's still really strong. How I have it put on in the back right now is not accurate on how it would be worn on the model, because my dress form is a girl dress form. It doesn't quite fit for a man's body, so some parts had to be, just for showing purposes, had to be adjusted for showing tonight. Attachment wise, so to give you an idea, this red piece is not attached to it. It actually slides in and out. It's supposed to go under this black belt, and then the green here, it sits on top of. So this is all one section. This piece is all one section. This piece and this piece. So that is the entire belt. It's all one continuous piece that's attached in 3 spots. Oh yeah, definitely, if I was to sell them, I would make them adjustable. But as of right now, I'm making them specifically for people. So if I was making more of a generic cosplay for anybody to buy, I would make it more adjustable. It'd probably be more of a loose fit, but nothing skin tight. Where for these, I'm making it specifically for one person. I'm not intending, at least of right now, to resell them. But if you are interested in buying, if anybody's interested in buying, please just feel free to give me a whisper, an email, or anything, and we can discuss things. The 3 attachment places that I do have for this belt is, so the spot that it's not supposed to be attached to is this one, this black to here. Let's see, can I get this closer? It looks like that is as close as I can get, unfortunately. So, down to this level. This piece right here, you can see the silver button. It actually does not show when it's worn, which is why it's not painted. It goes underneath this red piece and it attaches about here underneath, so it's completely hidden. This black belt does not attach to here. It actually attaches underneath this silver button. There's a snap, and you cannot see it, but it goes under there. And then this belt, which attaches from the front, if you remember here, it crosses over and it attaches to the snap right here, which is the painted snap. It's painted green, so it's just kind of tucked in right now for the show. It's all hand dyed again, green leather, both sides. The red pieces are Worbla. It is thin foam that was sandwich covered in Worbla, bent, and then it's attached by jump rings again. So there's a bunch under here. The bags are actually functioning bags. So they do open. They are leather bags, hand stitched, Worbla on top, and all the belts were hand cut. So that is that piece. And then the only piece left that I have not discussed is the pants. I'm really proud of the pants. They're kind of like Shakespearean pants because they have that poof. When they're worn, they have a poof to them and they're really cool. You can kind of see them here, but they're just tacked onto the dress form right now. It's really wide. I can't tell with my computer if they're disappearing or not. Let's see. Switch down to there. So it's two different types of fabric. One is just a black one. The brown is just a cotton, kind of like more textury one. And then I quilted the brown here. So there's actually the quilting batter or bedding inside that's been cross-hatched around. And then at the bottom, I did a pull and tie kind of thing, like for hoodies. So there's a string that goes all the way through, and then it's tied at the bottom. Which reminds me, I need to take that tape off. I'll do it later. And then again, there's leather bags, pouches on the sides, and it's Worbla, and hand-stitched leather. And there is one button that's underneath here. But they're pretty cool, I like to think. So, that is my cosplays. Let's see. That good? A little deconstructed now. But, oh, you still can't see me. No. There we go. Is there any further questions on any of them? Want me to go over anything again? Thank you, Pam. I appreciate it. Thank y'all for being here tonight. I really appreciate it for coming in and joining the stream as I go over the two cosplays. Again, these are for a-kon 28 this year. And I will be showing them this weekend, actually. I'll be entering the cosplay contest, so we'll see how I do. I'm going to be entered in the master division, since basically if you win a couple of titles, you have to be automatically in that one. So that's my division now. Yay! So that should be fun. It'll be a long day. I have my judging time at 11 a.m., which for me, getting 2 people ready will take at least probably 4 hours, and also we'll have transporting to there, or like a 20-minute walk from the hotel, or from the convention center. So yeah, we'll see. Hopefully it all goes well. I have my sister helping. She's gonna be your little handler. Yeah. What's my next project gonna be? I'm gonna take a break for a little bit. Break for me is normally like a week or 2 until I start fully starting a piece. But so by the way, there will be no creative stream next Tuesday. It will be a gaming stream. Just letting you know. I'm kind of thinking I might do a To Be cosplay, which is from Nora Automata. Did I say it right? My roommate's not paying attention to me right now. I think that's the game. Basically, she's a cyborg and has white hair that's short to here, blindfold, black dress. She's really known for when you play the game, you look up at her bum. I will not be doing pictures like that. I'm sorry. So I may do that one, and then I would like to do another Mercy cosplay. There is a new one that just came out for not the Overwatch anniversary, but the one before that. I don't remember what it's called, but it's the newest one for Mercy. It's blue, white, and I think a little bit of red in it. And she's like a medical girl, and with a little white beret, tons of little like needles, and her staff is one giant like needle for like shots and stuff. So I may do that one. Oh, okay. Yeah, I haven't played the first one of that one. This one is the first time I've played it. So I may be streaming that one. I tend to stream that quite a lot. That and Overwatch lately. So yeah. Ah, thank you, Space Disco. That's what I was, that's the one. No, I haven't done an Elder Scrolls cosplay. I don't know if I will or not. Yeah. It's like, I want to try staying more... So I really enjoyed my Witcher cosplays. I did Ciri, Geralt, Yennefer, and Triss. Won first place for that one at Comic-Con. I liked that one, but it was... Everybody knew it, but it wasn't super popular, and I'm kind of wanting to do one that might be a little more popular, but I'm also wanting to do... The reason I want to do To Be is because I want to do one that's not tons and tons of Worbla and armor. I'd like to do one that's more focused on sewing and just something that I can wear that's more comfortable and not be like a walking billboard with my wings. I'm coming, get out of my way. Okay, now I can't go anywhere because I'm stuck because I can't go through this wall. So, things like that. Yes, I do like the Witcher franchise and everything. They all have good costumes, but just, you know, I did it already. Don't want to... I would want to remake a lot of pieces from it, because that was some of my first stuff that I did coming back from retirement for cosplaying. But, sorry, I'm looking at it now. But I'm not going to do that again. I kind of want to stay away from that kind of genre right now, personally. I like doing more of the anime stuff. I've done Mume from Kabanara Iron Fortress. I've done in the past a bunch of pieces from Trinity Blood, as well as Chobits, and from Death Note. I know Death Note, we're going to have a lot of people coming back since they're doing a new movie for it. But I really like details on things, so that's why I like doing gaming cosplays. Like the detail on all these, you have the accurate photos and stuff. I can still make it my own, but it's the detail. I love that. Yes. No, I'm cosplaying what I want to do. Yep, I enjoy doing these, and one day it might be a job, but as of right now it's not. It's just a hobby, so I'll keep doing this for my free time, playing games, having fun. So many people from Star Wars. Hi Brian, welcome on. Actually finishing up tonight, Brian. I went over the Valkyrie Mercy cosplay, as well as my newest one, the one with Hanzo cosplay, which most of the pieces are kind of detached from that, but I can show you real quick since you came back on. So you see, I think you've seen the Valkyrie Mercy one, some of it, but all the pieces to it, as well as the Hanzo. You can see the wolf head in the back. See where I want to be. Yep. Aw, thank you, Brian. I appreciate that. Love you. So yeah, that'll be fun. As a reminder, I will not be streaming this Thursday or this Saturday. I am going to be out of town at the con, so unfortunately I will not be on. I will be on, most likely, unless I for some reason get sick or something, I don't know. I'll be on Tuesday. I will not be doing a creative stream. I will be doing a gaming stream. I will probably do a couple of weeks off of creative streams. I'm gonna take a couple weeks off from cosplaying for making stuff just to come back, unpack, settle everything in, and then figure out what I want to make next. If there's a convention I want to go to, that's a goal of what I want to make for that long time. It'll depend on how difficult a cosplay I want to do then. If it's a short amount of time, then I probably will skip it. But yeah. So probably most likely a month before I do another creative stream, unfortunately. But I'll still be doing photos on Instagram of work in progress stuff. Just I don't want to be sketching on my streams. I can't sketch and talk at the same time, much less read, and so. Yes, this one my roommate is going to be wearing for me. You can see in the photo there, actually, that was from today. That was just a generic put on. He's gonna still have a beard and a whole shoulder piece. Oh, congratulations on the part-time job, Brian. Well, I appreciate if you pop in. You know, I always enjoy you coming and visiting. Aww. Well, there's always Instagram, and you can always message me and everything if you want to talk or anything. Yeah. Oh, okay, cool. I'll have to check you out, Space Disco. Yeah, anybody else, check him out too. It'd be great. Yeah, I've been watching a lot of PlayerUnknown Battlegrounds. I kind of watch it at work, or I listen to it when I'm working. I have it in the background, just kind of listening to people talk. I enjoy that. So it's a different experience than listening to music, gotta say. So, but yeah, so these are the 2 cosplays that I'll be doing this weekend. Thank y'all again for joining tonight. I really appreciate all of y'all coming and checking things out. Wish me luck for this weekend, and I will see all of y'all next Tuesday with the gaming stream, normal time, 7 p.m.-ish, you know. And I hope everybody has a good rest of their week and weekend. Thank y'all all for joining. Love y'all. And if you haven't done so already, I'd appreciate the follow. And check out my stuff on my website at tiffanygordon.com, or you can go to my Instagram page at Tiffany Gordon Cosplay, as well as my YouTube page, which is getting there. I've got like 1 or 2 things on there, but I'll slowly start putting more stuff on. It's also Tiffany Gordon Cosplay on my YouTube one. So I hope to talk to everybody next Tuesday or in the future weeks to come. So bye everybody, and thanks again. Aw, thank you, Payup. I appreciate it. Have a good evening to you too, Brian. And bye, Space Disco, Brian, Payup, and bye, Terrible One. Thanks for the follow, and if there's anybody else that I missed, thank y'all for joining tonight. Love y'all.